I needed a moment. This is insane. Watch to the end of the video. This isn't clickbait. This isn't me trying to get views. This is insane. This is the craziest patch note we've ever gotten in World of Warcraft history for 20 years. We're going to go over every single ounce of it. This just came out. This, look, posted 1 minute ago. We're making this video posted 1 minute ago. It's titled Class Tuning and Nerfs to Interrupts. You need to see this right now. Stay tuned. Listen, in Embles and Atharian update development notes, we're going to get down to the stuff that actually matters. I don't know what all this is. This is about the dungeons. We went over this in a previous video. Upgrade system, that's PvE. We're going to get right into the PvP changes. This is what really hurts. This is what really hurts. If you want to check these out, I'll leave a link in the comment section. There's like some class changes. There's like a humongous Shadow Priest rework. All that good stuff. We're not worried about none of that. Right here. Player versus player. Critical strikes now deal 50%. Base damage and healing was 25. So this is a nerf to DPS and healers. Crits are going to be significantly lower. 25% is a lot bigger than you think. Precog has been removed from the game, but will be added as to an optional regrant to put on your gear as an embellishment. You need to remember this. This is going to play a big factor come the end of this video, because now there's room for embellishments in PvP because they got rid of something. Stay tuned to find out what they got rid of. Crowd control disarmament. Gladiator's Distinction, the PvP trinket bonus, no longer provides crowd control reduction. The 15% CC is gone, which is amazing because the game has no CC. Anybody playing any form of high-rated arenas right now knows that pressing crowd control buttons feels bad. Fear feels bad. Everything feels bad. Polymorph feels bad. It's all too short. But don't worry, Blizzard decided to make it shorter. Before we get into that, though, interrupt changes. They have changed game-wide, non-PP specific interrupt changes. Skull Bash reduced by 1 second. This is the time that your kick locks you out. So if I'm casting and you kick me, this is how long I'm locked out. 1 second off Skull Bash. 1 second off Counterspell. 1 second off Spear Strike. 1 second off Rebuke. 2 seconds off Kick. So Rogue's taking the biggest one thus far. Actually, it takes the biggest one overall. Wind Shear, 2 seconds. That's terrible. Warlock Spell Lock, down to 5 seconds. I actually think Spell Lock and Counterspell needed a second, but not the other ones. Pummel, 3 seconds. This is where it gets fucky, guys. Crowd Control PvP duration changes. Blinding Sleet, reduced by a second. Asphyxiation, 2 seconds. Fell Eruption, 1 second. Entangling Roots, 2 seconds. Hibernate, which no one really uses that. Mass Entanglement, 2 seconds. Vortex, 4 seconds. Landslide, 2 seconds. Freezing Trap got nerfed by 2 seconds. Steel Trap, 2 seconds. Scattershot, a second. And Tim Stun, 2 seconds. That almost cut it in half. That almost cut Pet Stun in half. In half, I tell you. Polymorph, 2 seconds. Mass Polymorph, that's obvious that they nerf Polymorph, 2 seconds. Ring of Frost, 2 seconds. Hodge, 1 second. Blinding Light, 1 second. Reptance, 2 seconds. Turn Evil, no one presses that. This isn't classic. MC, 2 seconds. No one presses that Shackle Undead either. Fear, 1 second. Blind by 3 seconds. 8 seconds, 5 seconds. Blind almost got cut in half. This is intended for rogues to not be able to sap off the blind. Do you understand? Listen, this is no knock on you if you're low rated at all, I promise. But unless you're playing even like somewhat relevant, the worst headphones in WoW history. My apologies. Unless you're playing, I'll give my 1,800 people some love, right? Like I'm playing up around 2,400. But I'm not the kind of person that thinks unless you're 2400 you're not relevant, right? Like even 1800 and above. If you're playing any form of relevant arenas, you understand that it takes skill, and you could say, oh well, no, it does. It takes. Not every rogue is blinding, doing damage, vanishing in the last 2 seconds, step sapping the blinds, right? It's not something you see every day, right? When it happens to you, you're mad. But blind as a whole is such a big part of Rogue's toolkit. I don't think you understand how big of a change to the entirety of World of Warcraft that every CC is getting nerfed into the ground. Look at this. Blind. Their biggest button. This is their kill window in almost every game. 3 seconds off. Kidney shot. Decreased. Sap decreased by 2 seconds. Sap. Blind. Sap. And don't worry, it gets better. Kidney shot. Reduced by a second per combo point. This has been in the game for 20 years. And they're making this change now. In a state of the meta where damage is already the most important thing, CC, of course you get CC'd. You're going to be like, oh, Uppy, that's not true. My DPS die in traps sometime when I'm in a freezing trap or I'm in a blind. Of course they do. This is World of Warcraft PvP. This is not Mythic Plus. This isn't M0s, my guy. We're not trying to run in and max PvE everything into the dirt. That's not skillful. I mean, okay, let me take that back. It's skillful in its own right when you're doing dungeons. That's your job, to min-max DPS. This is PvP. You should always have a place in the meta for crowd control, because that's what sets aside the good players from the great players, the ability to set up CC chains to win a game, and they're taking it away. This is terrible. This is terrible. This is terrible. Earth Grab Totem, 2 seconds. Hex, 2 seconds. Seduce, 2 seconds. Axe Toss, 1 second. The Axe Toss stun, the second stun they get to use, 1 second. Spell Lock from Grimoire Sacrifice, reduced by a second. Stormbolt was only a 4-second stun. Now it's a 3. You warriors think you're setting up big goes in 3 seconds? That's like 3 globals max. By the time you press the global, you only got 2 seconds left to do damage. You think you're killing people in this? No. I'm not going to get into the tuning changes. Roar Sacrifice is now a core talent. I mean, I'm not going to get into this stuff, to be quite honest with you. Maybe I can do another video for like the class tuning changes. There looks to be like some pretty interesting stuff in here. I personally love this one. They removed the Dome of Light PvP talents. Now I can actually run something useful, and they just made Dome 100% more effective in PvP. So like everyone gets improved Dome of Light. I think that's good. There's some other minor changes in here. But again, I'm not going to get into this. Maybe another video for this. But you just made every CC in the game worse. You took out the 15% Gladiator Distinction, which makes no sense because you just nerfed every PvP stun and CC in the game. You added precog to every caster. You don't get the 5% CC reduction on your boots now. So every player is going to run precog, because now precog is something you embellish on your gear. So everybody in the game that casts something can bait you and be immune to CC and kicks and just destroy Destro Locks, Frost Mages, all healers. They're just going to rail you now. Every time you make one mistake with your kick, you're going to get burnt into the ground. And there's going to be people out there who see this and they're like, this is a great change, guys. I no longer am going to die to rogue kidney shots. If you were pre-walling stuff, synchronizing with your teammates, trading your defensives accordingly, and not trinketing at the wrong time and waiting for real CDs to be traded to trade your trinket, you didn't have that problem. Like it or not, you didn't have that problem. And I might hurt some people's feelings with this. This might get a whole bunch of thumbs down. But I'm telling you right now, if you're any bit decent at PvP and you enjoy the competitiveness of PvP and how relevant crowd control and setting things up with your actual teammates is, you hate this change. If you're spamming solo shuffle, LFG, and you're hovering around 15 to 1700 the entire season, then you probably love this change. You're like, oh man, I can't die in a blind kidney anymore. That's bad. No. Nobody asked for this. Nobody wanted this. This is terrible. 20 years of PvP meta, and and I know that the damage is sometimes a little different and the meta changes in that regard, but CC has always needed a relevant role, or else you're just doing mythic plus dungeons with real players. That's all you're doing, is you're just maximizing damage, and that's exactly what they just did. This is an L. I support this in the least amount possible. This needs to be fixed before this patch launch. I hope this is an April Fool's joke. It's only March. Maybe they're just getting ahead of it. This is terrible. I hope this never makes it to live servers. This has no place in the game. They need to get rid of the 15% CC reduction, but not nerf all the CC, and they need to take precog out of the game. That's what should have happened, but this happened. So thanks for watching. I really hope I didn't upset so many people. If you don't like my opinions, I don't judge you. Everybody has their own opinions. These are mine, but I think that you'll find a ton of relevant WoW PvPers going to share that opinion. This is terrible. But thank you guys. I'll be back update hopefully with a video soon. I might do some we'll go over some of these actual changes to classes. I think class tuning would be a good idea, but I'm not going to tie it all into one video. So thank you again. Have a great day and good luck in 10.1 with no CC.